Sorry.
What daring! What outrageousness! What insolence! What arrogance! I salute you.
Please disperse! Nothing to see here, please!
Hello, everyone. We have a full house tonight. Before we get going, let me say welcome back to Max. He's had a very interesting couple of weeks and been dealing with some interesting real culture war challenges out there. I just wanted to shout you out first. We love seeing your handsome face here, Max. How are you doing tonight?
Oh my gosh, no, thank you so much for having me back on, brother. And chat, hello to you guys. It's been a while. No, it's great to see everyone. It feels like it's been a month, but it's just been, a week since I've seen you guys last, and feels good to be back, and looking forward to getting into all the spicy topics tonight. So, but yeah, it's always fun to hang out with you guys. So thanks again for having me.
Welcome back, Max. We missed you. I mean, a lot.
No.
I want to say hello to Nathan, the man who I only get shared custody with. I get him every other week, and he's on this show. I'm referring, of course, to Amanda Manethrin. This guy is why your minds are going to be blown tonight. I am not given to hyperbole, but we are going to show you numbers that confirm what a lot of you have suspected around the globe going on with a certain Tolkien-related project and a certain platform we may be on. Nathan, how are you doing out there?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here this evening and looking forward to spending some time with all of you.
You're a little eggplanty, but I think we can probably write it out. Yeah. So that's code. Chat, don't tell anybody. That's code for when you robot. We're deciding to say eggplant. Before I move on to everyone else, I'm going to shout out my channel members. Hail to William 101, Shield Wall of Dragons, Rosie Gamgees. I hope you're feeling better, Rosie. Punkwaddle, who has been having internet issues from hell, doesn't just affect this channel, but also his ability to be on Snowdub's Cotton Connection, because he, of course, does the penguin puppet. Also, Sarah Garian, Matt Jones, Silverlock, hail to you, and smile a while for me. It's great to see you guys. And the one, the only Kayla Dare. Hail to my channel members and to my Taveran. Let's move on to the lovely, the stunning, the brave Purple Valkyrie. How are you doing tonight? I know. I figured I'd mess with you this week. I did that deliberately.
I'm doing great. Thank you. So good to see you guys. Look at this handsome panel.
I know. It's like siblings. We love each other. We really do, except when we don't. Zax, how are you doing? You dropped a really cool video today talking about what we can expect. Those of us who cover pop culture have been covering the culture war for a while. You had some really interesting takes. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was just my attempt to sort of share the knowledge of what I've dealt with already on my own, and get us all ready to brace for impact, I guess.
Yeah, you and I went through that last November and December, and you gave me advice about how not to take bait when I was doing Wheel of Time stuff, and as usual, you were mostly right. And I think we're going to see all of those tactics and more being used. But let's be honest, regardless of what reality is, regardless of how bad this is, Amazon is still going to say it's the #1 show in the world, the most viewed ever. It absolutely is transcendent. They hit a home run because
It's a
reality
triumph.
has nothing
Yes.
to do with
That's
it.
the word.
Reality has nothing to do with anything. Just
Right.
like November 2020 and 2 weeks to slow the spread and a whole lot of other things I can't talk about because I like my channel. Before we get going, did you have some? I'm sorry, sounded like somebody wanted to say something real quick. I want to. There's so many awesome people here. I can't keep up. We're having some issues with Restream, and so I'm having to do triple duty tonight. No, just some inside baseball. So if things are a little clunky, that's why. Nathan, let's not bury the lead. If there's somebody out there that oh, the Thad that shouldn't be is here as well. Hail to you, my Taveran. Thanks a lot, Zax. What you're about to see, no one has been covering. We covered it on Sunday, I believe, was it? We got together, or Saturday, and we presented. If you look on my channel, we talked about the global backlash, looking at the live view counts for the Rings of Power. And what we wanted to do was let a few days go by to compare those numbers to what we have now. And Nathan, Amanda Manethrin, has blown my mind. You're going to want to pay attention to this one. So let's talk about this a little bit. Nathan, you're a data guy. Tell people what we're looking at here. I'm going to try and give everybody that looks like the best view that we can do and bounce it out. Explain what we're looking at.
All right. You are looking at the global thumbs up, thumbs down by region, at least all the regions that I had time to pull. But these are many of the major regions across the world that are specific Amazon Prime accounts on YouTube. And so you're seeing the ratios with these.
You're a little
terms of how
robot-y,
many-
Nathan. I don't know if you can move your mic closer or not. Let's try moving your mic
All
closer.
right.
This is too important to screw up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's the ratios. Every single one of them are in favor of the thumbs down.
Nathan, you might want to drop out. Nathan,
Okay.
you're roboting. Drop out and come back. We'll vamp while you do that. So sorry, this is just an issue that we're having. I think there's storms where we are, so we're going to drop Nathan out and have him come back. So what's important to note from this? There are 5 or 6 distinct columns within this. We're looking at the upvote to downvote ratio, the total channel subscribers. We're looking at total views. So we're actually looking at the live data as we're being reported by YouTube itself. There is a country in particular that has been, their data's been scrambled. There's really no other way to put it. And Nathan, go ahead and share that out again. Give me a test.
All right. Did that help at all?
Yep. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. There you go.
And now we're not. It's so weird, dude. I don't know why it's so freaky like that. All right, Nathan. All right. So the first column we have is thumbs up, going left to right. Second column is thumbs down. Then there's the ratio overall. Then we put right next to that is total views. Next one is sub count. And then what that means from a subscriber to video interaction percentage. And then looking at the subscriber to video interaction. So Nathan, go ahead and take it. Right. Let's take a look at New Zealand, and then let's go ahead and run with the breaking news that we're going to, I think we're the only ones breaking it. We're breaking it right here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what's interesting about Australia, New Zealand is when we did our initial video late last week, my initial screen capture of the video was restricted, which was different from a few days prior to that when the trailer got dropped. So then all of a sudden, I'm going to switch over to the New Zealand page that I've got here. So this is what the page looked like last Friday or whenever that was. This is what it looks like today.
Friday. Yeah. So this is okay. So the total count that we had last Friday was what? What was the last time you checked it on Friday?
So the total number of views was almost 200,000. So
199, and then 95, and then with a ratio of 52-1. So explain what happened.
So then all of a sudden it got restricted, and the count dropped to 122,000.
It dropped by 70,000 views.
Right.
2.5
since then,
hours later, it dropped by
Yeah.
70,000 views. 2.5 hours later. Yeah.
And so since then it's picked back up, but and as of yesterday on the 29th, I was able to view the trailer again on their site, and lo and behold, 60,000. It had increased by 60,000, and then today it's increased by another almost 20,000. And you'll notice the ratio has gone through the roof.
Yep. Nathan, can you move your mic
even more
closer?
so. Yeah.
Nathan, move your mic closer. Okay, good. Yeah, let's see if that fixes it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So as of right before the show, and that's East Coast time, 7:14 East Coast time. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so they've monkeyed with the New Zealand numbers, and which is not surprising because New Zealand is, if you'll recall, where they were doing the filming and where they invested a whole bunch of money and a whole lot of jobs were created there. And then Amazon decided to pull up shop and move the whole operation to England and leave a crap load of people in New Zealand unemployed. And so this reaction does not surprise me in the slightest bit. I think that the nation is probably pissed off at Amazon for what they did to them. But either way, whether or not this is reactionary or not, according to how Amazon does business, it still is, if we look back at these total numbers, still indicative when we've got a whole worldwide ratio of almost 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Where you're getting a thumbs down. The only country.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Yeah. The only country that's positive is the Philippines, who has 1 thumb up and 0 thumbs down.
Yeah.
With only 25 views somehow.
Wow.
So these numbers here, I don't believe for a minute.
No.
So like if we look at Finland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, regions where there was a lot of inspiration for Tolkien to write what he wrote, and we're seeing very little interaction to these views. Combined, probably maybe almost 2% maybe on interaction.
Let's pause there a second. You are, if you can see this, if you're looking on a larger screen, you will be able to tell. Finland, Amazon Prime has a dedicated Finland channel, which is obviously Simu or something like that. It's in Finnish. They're saying that of all of the, how many subscribers do they have, Nathan? I forget how many
in
they
Finland.
have. Yeah.
899 apparently.
So there's apparently not even 1,000 people in Finland are subscribed to this, but only 30 people in the entire country of Finland who speak Finnish gave 30 thumbs up in an entire country. Go to Denmark. The sub count there is again sub 1,000. Only they got 35 upvotes in Denmark, but 525 downvotes again in Denmark. Norway, 42 upvotes in the entire country of Norway, but then only 58 downvotes. And then Sweden, 86 upvotes to 117 downvotes out of 21,000 views.
Yeah.
Max, this is the first time you're seeing this data. Give me your snap judgment on a lot of these things, man. I want to hear what you think about this, please.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about here. As far as like, first from when it comes to the lesson or like the subtraction of views from the Australia and New Zealand video, I wonder if they like kind of took it down for a moment in order to take some of the views away and then bring it back up. I'm not sure how they were able to do that or what they had to do that. Or if they were able to find like bots that were viewing it for some reason. I don't know how that works, but definitely a really interesting anecdote to find that. And then the numbers here, I mean, it just speaks for itself. I think the really interesting thing is that across the board, from what it looks like, is that the ratios have continually been downvoted. Like they heavily ratio negatively, even in lower interaction channels. It's still a negative ratio, and I think that's really. I think it says a lot about. We've never seen a mass of people speak out this way, because this is their way of, because since they took the dislikes away, they're trying to, most people won't even see the dislikes, so this is their way of trying to tell YouTube, trying to tell Amazon, we're not liking what we're seeing. So it's very telling of what the fans are trying to tell these corporations.
Purple Valkyrie, you were live with Nathan and I last Friday when we went over the raw data before we included Sweden, Finland, and Norway discreetly. What is your reaction to this, and what have you been seeing? I know we saw people were redirecting. I think the Thad that shouldn't be, who's in chat, was looking on the back end, and they were actually trying to get people to stop downvoting in New Zealand because the ratio was so bad, and to go to the American or the UK trailer. What's your read on this? What's your sense on this? As someone who lives in Birmingham, where Token is from.
Yes, that's what we were seeing. When we were talking about it, and we were seeing the numbers getting redirected, and we actually did a test, and we did a quick check, and the first one that popped up for me obviously was the UK one. I had to actually go actively searching for a lot of these, and a lot of them seem to have been shadowed. We couldn't find India, for example. That was a very difficult one to find, and that has a massive audience. I think it's got over 8 million people subscribed to it, but the numbers were incredibly low, and we couldn't figure out why. But to see this, and to see 70,000 taken off the New Zealand one, is anybody surprised? Is anybody thinking that this isn't them moving the numbers? And the other thing that is very interesting to note is the comment sections. Everybody is on the same page with the comment sections, whereas before it was the quote, evil can't create, and people were saying that in their own languages. Now it's people just making fun of Rings of Failure.
And honestly, it's hysterical. Zax, I'm going to go to you, but Mr. Tickle Trunk, channel member of mine, hail to you, has been waiting patiently for 5 Canadian. Thank you very much. Much in the same way you see the shenanigans here with view counts. That's happening to regular YouTubers like me. Sporking News podcast that Zax was on last night put out a tweet today saying, where did all my views go? I have a video. I did a live reaction to the the House of Dragons on Sunday, and one page will tell me I have over 350 views, and then I go to my monetization page, and guess how many it says I have? 30. I'm not the only one this is affecting. I'm pretty sure this is affecting much larger channels than my 2,600 almost subscribers that I have now. But whatever is going on, this has been going on for months. And I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. It's just odd that this stuff is happening about the time that $1 billion thing is happening. But I don't know. Maybe it just has to do with forcing us to eat bugs and not have electricity. Let me read this from Mr. Tickle Trunk. Says, YouTube's numbers all have lag on them. Keep that in mind. Having said that, it's common practice to repost a video to clean votes, etc. And then we've got a tuna e-business. Fascinating take on that. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Yeah, we're seeing some
fishy
interesting
business.
reaction. Oh, fishy business. I was like tuna business.
Oh,
I was like,
I get it. No.
Yeah, now I get it. Fishy business. I got it eventually. Zax, what's your take on this, dude? What do you think of this crazy stuff?
The Canadian numbers are to me extra suspect, with almost 400,000 views and only 6 thumbs up and 24 thumbs down. How is that possible?
That's wild.
Which one of those is yours, Zax?
Those are all mine, mostly.
All your
other
different
people
profiles.
Read those numbers again for people watching on mobile. Read the numbers. How many thumbs up and thumbs down? Okay, how many views versus thumbs? You guys are going to believe this.
Views, 385,000 views. So getting close to 400,000 views. And of that, there's 6 thumbs up, 24 thumbs down for an interaction rate of 0.01%.
Good Lord.
That is not possible. There's no way
Now,
that.
now in Canada, don't they call the thumbs down button sorry?
Yeah.
Well, I have a custom thumbs down button for Amazon, and so at least 10 of those are my thumbs down. So I don't know what's going on, but that's super suspicious to me. Beyond suspicious, that's evidence.
I hear the more that you click the dislike button, it adds more dislikes onto the video.
It's like the elevator. The more you press,
Yeah.
the more you press the down button, the faster it goes. It's pneumatically driven. Yeah.
Wow, that's really Nathan, great work on this, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The other interesting thing too, I thought. Oh, sorry, Zach, you were in the middle of
I
your
was
stuff.
going to finish off by almost 400,000 views and a total of 30 thumbs in either direction. Explain that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
They can't.
I can't any more than I can explain all the food processing plants burning down in the United States. I can't explain that either. I'm sure they're completely unrelated, isolated things. Yeah, this just must just be normal. Nothing to see here, you bigots, you istinphobes. You're just afraid of strong women. It wasn't made for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
May I also maybe kind of add some context to this real quick as well? So, for a lot of detractors, they'll probably see these numbers and they'll go like, "Wow, you guys really care about this? Like, oh, like, does this really like matter?" Like Zax was saying and Salty was saying today in the videos, they'll say, "Don't if you don't like it, don't watch it," or "Why does it matter so much to you?" I was on Matt Foulball Productions stream. Shout out to him. We did a podcast today. It'll come out tomorrow. But one of the things that we talked about was how important media and entertainment is for a culture, because you learn lessons, you learn morality, you learn ethics. Sometimes your first introduction to those things is through media. Media changes culture, and sometimes, if it is put into the wrong hands, it can influence culture into a negative way, a society into a negative way. So what we're seeing here is basically corporations fudging the numbers, or fans speaking out and them still fudging the numbers. And what this does is it creates a disingenuous argument, so that when people like us actually say, "Listen, this isn't what we wanted. No one asked for this. We're worried that it's going to ruin the themes and legendarian of Tolkien." The big corporations are going to come out and they're going to go, "It doesn't matter," and they're going to make this disingenuous argument because they're fudging the numbers and everything. So in the grand scheme of things, yes, this is an Excel sheet and these are a bunch of numbers and people might not understand it. But in the grand scheme of things and in this context of what these numbers mean, I think what it means in the bigger picture is the fact that the fans are speaking out and have spoken, and we're getting ready for a battle here, essentially. Whether people like it or not. And it is a battle for our culture. It's a battle for our society. So I think it's bigger than just, "Oh, it's just a show. If you don't like it, don't watch it." It means much more to people than that.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. I want to shout out channel members we have here. We have Doviende, say Tovius again. Hail to you, brother. I hope things are getting better. We have Dr. Rachel Lindbergh. Lovely to see you. And of course, Daniel, who just started his own channel. Give Daniel a sub. We also have Lyle Hammock, a longtime supporter of this channel. And I need to jump around here a little bit. Let me get to this super chat before we continue on. Again, from Mr. Tickle Trunk for $2 Canadian, says, "This is Do A in Canada." Did I get that right, Zax? Or is that, do I need to have a mouthful of poutine to do that?
DOA. Dead on arrival.
Oh, DOA. Yeah, see, I don't read Canadian very well. So
that's all right.
This is DOA. DOA.
That's what I'm here for.
Sorry, I screwed up your joke, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you very much for that. So, yeah. And the Thad That Shouldn't Be says, "Remember, thumbs down are tracked by a third-party application now as well. It is my firm belief that when you are a preferred partner, like a transnational entertainment corporation, you can make whatever you want show however you want it to, especially with the thumbs up and thumbs down views." Yeah. Let's see. Is Purple back yet? I think she had to drop out because, oh, you're still here. Okay. Purple, Max said something really important that I've heard you say many, many, many times about culture and what culture does as a reflection of what civilization is or a mirror to it. Would you expound on that yet again, please?
Yes, indeed, and Max is absolutely right. We've talked about this multiple times on various shows. What we see with our entertainment is the stories that we've been passed down, and I think that's why stories like Tolkien resonate so much with us. We've talked about the hero's journey. We've talked about having strong characters that we can look up to, and I think that's what we want with entertainment, but we're also finding this is not what the companies want to give us. They don't want us to strive for anything. And I think, Max, you've talked about heroes and having people to look up to, and heroes throughout history. It's incredibly bizarre, and now to see this with the numbers that they are
Yeah.
moving the algorithm, I guess, would be the
Yeah.
best way. Right before this show drops, and I know a lot of people are going to see the premiere, which is it's going to be interesting, and obviously we're going to be talking about it as well very, very soon. But right on the cusp of this, it is incredibly strange that they are so intent on trying to prove that this is a worldwide success, that this is a phenomenon, when the numbers don't lie.
It's wrong think. There was a particular phase of them telling us that we're going to own nothing and like it, called the Great Narrative. Started a couple months ago. I'm just going to park that right there. And I want you to look at this, and I want you to look at what's going on in Europe, and I want you to look at your food bills. And I want you to, if you haven't already done the research, look at how countries like first world countries like the UK, France, Germany, they're suddenly telling people that it costs 10,000 euros a month to heat their house. More small businesses are closing because it's $7,000 just for electricity and gas in the UK.
Stock up in
Yes,
time
they
for
did.
Christmas. Yes.
Yeah. Sarah Garian is correct. Once as happenstance, twice as a coincidence, 3 times as an enemy action, and that, of course, is attributed to Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond books.
Nice.
Globally, Nathan, when we look at this, what are the global thumbs up that are recorded to thumbs down? How many people in the entire planet that are on YouTube that are subscribed or watch the various multiple all of these Amazon Primes? This is the only metric we can use, but I think we can extrapolate this fairly well. How many total thumbs up on the entire planet are there for people who care about this show?
That's the top row. There's 66,000 up, 626 down. So a 9.48
Let's say that again.
ratio.
Only 66,000 and change people on the entire planet that watch YouTube, that are subscribed to Amazon Prime or care about this at all. Only 66,000 people on the entire planet, including in the United States. Is that on there, Nathan? Is the U.S. on this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
U.S. is right there.
Yeah.
So over half of them are from the States. But this is that's a button they still have, that they still track.
Think about that.
And those numbers could be fudged either way. They could have taken thumbs down, or thumbs downs away, or inflated their thumbs up numbers. Because the thumbs up you can still see without the Chrome edition or whatnot.
Yeah,
so
and that's been proven on other trailers.
Yeah.
So it's not without any merit to the argument there. And if they're going to sit there and complain about, well, why does it matter to us? It's like, well, tell me why it matters to Amazon to sit there and manipulate the numbers the way that they do. It doesn't make your argument is completely disingenuous if you're not going to sit there and account it in both directions.
Yeah. And I think we have to be suspicious of all numbers. I think we can be less suspicious about positive interaction. You know what I mean? But put this in perspective. This is related to the second trailer that they put out. What is it, 4 or 5 days ago? It has gotten viewed nearly 28 million times. 28 million times globally on all of these different Amazon platforms in multiple different languages all around the globe. But out of that, only 66,000 people liked it enough to hit the thumbs up button.
I don't get
Yeah.
how people can say or ask, why do you guys care so much about these numbers when obviously they care more about these numbers than we do?
Yeah.
And the
Go
interesting
ahead.
thing too is like, oh, sorry,
No, go ahead.
it's almost it speaks even more powerfully in the fact that these are numbers of people who have interacted with it. We don't even know, like the people who watched it and yet didn't interact with it. They may have even had such a negative reaction that they were like, "I'm turning it off." Or they watched it and they said, "Yeah, it was great," but didn't hit thumbs up or whatever. I don't know what the ratio is for normal channels and subscribers as far as like interaction with the like dislike feature.
Yeah.
But I will say that there is something to be said. The fact that, like you said, Salty, there's almost 24 million people who've watched all this.
28. Sorry.
Or
28
excuse, yeah,
million.
sorry,
Yeah.
28
Sorry.
million.
Mhm.
No, you're right, because I was looking at the sub count. You're right. So it's 28 million, and yet the interaction, whether it's thumbs down or thumbs up, is still fairly low in what I would imagine. So there are still people who didn't even interact with the video in that like or dislike function. So who knows what the real count would be? But this is a very, very good indication. And like I said,
Yeah.
Nathan, great job for you know
Yeah.
this looks like a whole lot of work, man. So good work.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Let me get to
Appreciate
this.
that.
Let me get to this super chat from the one and only Lyle Hammock for $20. Thank you, Lyle. It means a lot. Says, hail to all on this amazing panel. Thank you, by the way, for letting me know just how in the minority on YouTube I am about Rings of Power. Anyway, you guys and gals are on the track for my long drive tonight. Hail to this fellowship. Well, first of all, Lyle, thank you. Second of all, thank you for being a longtime supporter and viewer of this channel. We have not always agreed. I respect your takes. We've always said we wanted this show to be good. It didn't look like it was. All of us on this panel would love to be wrong. And I would eat crow with the biggest shit-eating grin on my face you could possibly imagine. But the third thing is, please drive safe. We need you. We are not an echo chamber. We are not. And I have a lot of respect for your takes, and thank you for being a friend to many people on this show tonight. Hail to you, Lyle Hammock. These numbers are ugly. And at what I think somebody asked the question, what does it matter? What does matter? Qualitative statements of I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like the costume, I think the armor looks stupid, I think the weapons look stupid. Those are subjective, they're fair, they deserve credit. But we're looking at the actual numbers on a platform all of us here have channels on. Everyone who's in chat here tonight, when you see videos that are recommended to you, they are based on these exact metrics, why you see them, why they're on the front page, why they're not on the front page. Like it or not, this is how YouTube operates. To sit here and say, well, what difference does it make? I refuse that argument, and I'm going to directly challenge it and say, okay, if this doesn't matter, then what does? What does matter? Because this is data. You may not like the votes, but they're still real. This, as I believe the ratios are much higher than this. That is a personal opinion. I cannot prove it, but I think the dislike ratios are significantly higher. And the reason for that is what we saw on Friday, where people from different countries were being redirected to other countries that had a much lower ratio, like New Zealand and other things like that. What's going? Okay, purple is back. There we go.
Yeah, this is beyond anecdotal. It would be
Yeah.
one thing if we were taking just your opinion or my opinion. I mean, that's all anecdotal, not really worth a hill of beans, to be honest.
Yeah.
This stuff speaks to the whole thing. And, again, you may not like it, but that's just stats aren't meant to be liked or disliked. They're just meant to produce a factual statement of, hey, this is the truth. This is what's before our very eyes. And you don't even have to really even track the stats. You just go from channel to channel to channel, and you'll see consistently across the board what it is. Even their big Brazil channel that they were really doing a lot of promotion through, it doesn't have a good ratio. The great anus to Poder trailers, they aren't getting
Yep.
looked at well.
Oh
Yep.
man, I remember those.
Yeah. And Nathan, you are still kind of choppy. I don't know if moving closer helps or not, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's bizarre because what you have to say is so important. I hate the fact that it's distorted. Yeah, in chat, if you guys have any questions about this, I think the biggest thing in chat, I have to bounce you out just because we're dealing with very small numbers. We will bring you back shortly. Yeah, the Poland ratio is 15-1 downvotes. The Indian market is 15-1 downvotes. The Australia, New Zealand is 18.7 downvotes ratio. And then Denmark, 15-1. It's funny how in the United States, I remember that being higher, but now it's down. It's only down to 10.6-1 downvotes. It's insane. It's literally insane. In the United States on YouTube, that second trailer that dropped 5 days ago got 12,426,000 views. Out of that, only 38,000 upvotes. What are you thinking over there? I see Max's wheels turning, and I want to hear what this guy has to say, man. You talk to me, Goose. What do you got?
Well, these numbers are tough too because when you think about the wait and see crowd, which you could argue that there are a couple different fans that are waiting or that are gearing themselves for this Rings of Power series. You have the fans that have completely noped out of it and are saying, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to review it. I don't even want to know it exists. There's that type of fan. There's the fan that goes, you know what? I'm just going to wait and see. I'm totally neutral. I have no premonitions. I have nothing. I'm just going into it with just a blank slate. I'm going to wait and see. But then you also have the shills, which are like, even with all this negativity, even with all the data that we have here that we're looking at right now, even with all the articles and all the hatred and everything that has come out, they still go, no. Rings of Power is going to be a triumph. And in those three different factions of fans, I don't know. I tend to lean towards in between the I don't want anything to do with this, but I also have to watch it because I want to know exactly what they've done. It's like it's kind of watching a train wreck. You can't look
Yeah.
away, and I hate being in that kind of middle space. But what do you guys think? How are you guys going to watch this this show? Do you feel like you're going to watch it very objectively, like from a filmmaking standpoint, as far as like how's the cinematography, how's the acting, how's the directing and the soundtrack, or is it going to be based off of lore? How did they follow the lore? If it's the latter, I think I'm out. Like already, I know this isn't Tolkien, and I think most of us can probably agree here on the panel that if we're judging it by that base alone, it's already in the negative. It's not Tolkien. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Purple, will you start this question off because I heard your rueful chuckle because she chuckles in British. You guys at home, you know what I'm saying, right?
Must have
Please go
sipping
ahead.
a cup of tea at the time. Yes. Max, I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, there are very few people that I think will come at this with lore in mind, that this is Tolkien, this is what Tolkien should have written. I think most of us will be coming at this from is this objectively a good show? Can it be salvaged? Had this not had Tolkien's name on it, would this have been a good fantasy show? Would be the direction I would take. And how much of what the cast has been talking about is actually in the show, or are they just talking out of their asses, as actors seem to do at the moment? The other thing that I think is important to look at as well is, have we had just too much content thrown at us from Amazon with this show? We've had how many trailers now? We've had short trailers, long trailers, snippets, interviews. We've had they're starting to very slowly roll out marketing. We know that we saw the Kit Kats. Don't know why. Kit Kats, but hey, Kit Kats. I just think they've oversaturated their market. Anybody that would have watched it will watch it. Anybody that maybe down the line will watch it as well. I don't think that there is going to be any more people that they are going to snag at this late hour.
Yeah.
Let's go to you on this one, Zax, the handsome man in Canada, because we like our representation and diversity, eh?
Ooh, yeah. Well, I did watch a review, or a partial review from the Tolkien professor, Corey Olson, and yeah, he was very impartial. He was impartial because he did let us know sort of that he got flown to New York to watch the premiere with the showrunners who were there, who had coffee with him after, and yeah. So how could you be influenced that way at all in your review?
No, if you can't trust somebody like Dr. Corey Olson about Tolkien, who can you trust, right?
And he said that it was so. He wouldn't say it was great because he can't say that yet, but he said that he did cry multiple times during the showing.
Oh,
not joking.
They got his coffee order wrong. That's why. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, or the check
they gave him soy milk.
Sure. Oh, he loves soy.
Why couldn't he say whether it was a good show or not? It's everybody else that has apparently seen it or got a very early preview has been very, very vocal about whether or not it was good, and which is why I'm a little bit skeptical.
Yeah,
I've been skeptical of everything coming out of that man's mouth for the last 6 months. Max, you had an interesting take on him. I want to bounce to you guys real quick about him in particular. I'm not trying to do an ad hominem attack. It's just, you can see how they tried to create a fakely organic marketing approach to this by trying to engage with these, what I consider to be Tolkien fan sites and Tolkien experts, and create a narrative, and then fly them to London, and then wine and dine them, and then try to get us to impress like people who are Tolkien fans by, reciting things from the Silmarillion, by talking about the unfinished tales, and then slowly and gradually, like we're in a North Korean prison camp, being brainwashed to come around to their twisted point of view. Max, is that unfair? What do you think about what Dr. Olson has said?
It's really unfortunate for me because I remember watching Dr. Olson before Rings of Power was even a thing, and I actually really enjoyed his. I guess you could call them classes, because he was kind of doing these live streams that were styled as a classroom style format, where he had a PowerPoint and he would discuss with the chat like different quotes and what they mean, and he would ask questions, and like everyone was integrated into the text. It was like I was taking a course on Tolkien. And then I slowly watched this weird demise of like, now those same interactions weren't as fun. Now those same interactions were what's the right word I'm looking for? They were suppressed.
Gay.
Is basically.
No?
Yeah. Yeah, it was odd to see that, and I think that it was because of whether or not I don't want to speculate, but there is a large kind of beam shining towards this fact of like, you can't now be subjective or objective. I don't know which correct term would be. My
You
words
have
are awful
you have
tonight.
to toe
but,
the
yeah.
line. Yes.
Yes, yeah. So I guess that's the difficult part is like after him going to London to do this, he now has kind of lost credibility because a lot of people are like, hey, you can't now speak for fans anymore because you're just part of that media conglomerate. I
Mhm.
don't know.
Do you guys think that that's why they moved away from the quote unquote super fans that they were trying to use as well, and they went towards more, I guess, people that claim to know Tolkien and really, at least in the past, would talk about Tolkien, rather than trying to get on board with influencers?
Let me get to 2 super chats, then ask that question again. This is from Snowdub for $2. It says, my same name donation for the week. Thumbs up, laughing. We do this. We play tag. He gives me $2. I give him $2 on Friday. It's great to see you. Hail to you, Snowdub. Fantastic channel. Give Snowdub a sub. Does a great Cotton Connection show Saturday night. Let me also get to this super chat from Psychodwarf9 for $5 says, this thing will be a success. Wink. Remember the producers? Funded 5 times. They needed to fail and are driven to extreme when it's a hit. We all saw this thing coming. We just didn't realize to what degree the manipulation was going to be there, in my opinion. Hail to you, Cycle Dwarf 9. And what do we got here? Nathan, I'm going to bounce your data out for a second, but we're going to bring this back. What do we have here, guys? In chat, I'll bounce you for a second. There we go.
That's
Look
Captain
who it is.
Impartial, Corey Olson.
Captain Impartial.
Yeah.
He's a very
him.
intelligent-looking fellow.
Mhm. Yeah. Just like everyone else who has invitations to go see that flick, they definitely pose for photos with the actors and showrunners and go for coffee after, right? That's how reviewers work.
Yeah. Clearly, yes.
Yep.
Yes. I bet if all of us had managed to get tickets, that's exactly what would have happened. Yes.
I'm waiting for my plane ticket to New York right now.
Yeah, I'm an impartial reviewer. Where's my goodie bag and where's my brown paper bag stuffed full of money so that I'll say this is the best thing ever? I can be bought, not cheap. We're talking a couple $100,000, but at least my soul is worth that much to me. I don't know if Kit Kats and a coffee with these hosers is worth it, but that's just me.
Have a Kit Kat, Salty. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was worth sharing.
Has anyone on the panel or even in chat, let me know if you guys have seen this in chat, but have you guys actually seen someone go to a premiere and then the next day write a review and be like, that fucking sucked? Have you ever seen someone go to a premiere and then afterwards they're interviewed and they're like, so you just saw Star Wars The Last Jedi, what did you think? And someone was like, wow, that was really bad. I've never seen that before with someone just
not if in the business. No.
I just don't think it's possible. I would love to see that as a huge troll, but I don't think
I might have done that at the Trolls 2 red carpet, but I didn't make it to it.
Hey, Trolls 2 is objectively a fantastically funny film, so
it will be better than the show.
Yeah.
Oh God. This is the world we live in where crafting the narrative, and I made this joke before, they have put more care in scientific rigor and sticking to the manual of how to manipulate opinion on this show than they did in writing the actual show. We're seeing it more and more and more, in my opinion. Kenobi, She-Hulk, just add all. They seem to be really heavy and very short of creativity. And anyone with a set of, I'm going to use gendered language, balls to go, you know what? Maybe we're not as smart as Professor Tolkien. You know, maybe we shouldn't take the name of Gladriel and turn her into a third wave feminist in armor and talk about her dead brother, even though her brother didn't die. And she is not even where they say she is. But this is based on the works of Tolkien. I think there's a whole hell of a lot of people around the planet that Amazon completely thought were idiots. Because that's how these corporations think of us. I really do believe that. I forget who it was. Was it Uzax or was it Daniel who shared the video in my Twitter channel member feed today from Living Anachronism, talking about a lot of these things. Why do these things keep happening? It's a lot of what we've talked about on this show and other shows as well. But what Living Anachronism did was tell you exactly what's going to happen after all of this. There is a preset path, and there has been from the moment the show was made. This is why the information has been controlled. Things have been manipulated. They're going to be manipulated even more the moment people walk out of the movie theater on August 31st for the 2-hour or 2-episode showing of this. The onslaught will be like nothing we have ever seen. Ever. This season 1 of television cost even more than the $465 million they originally told us. It's been in the last 48 hours, it has been revealed this one season of television, just producing it to Amazon, cost $750 million. That is not including the $250 million for Tolkien rights. You guys tell me what you think about that. What do you think about that?
I think that's insanity. And we all saw the articles that came out saying that Amazon's streaming may actually hinge a lot on whether or not this show is a success. So I will
It's so
be
weird.
very, very curious in the upcoming days just how much of a success. But we all know that they're never going to release the numbers. So how do you gauge it as a success? Is it by fan reaction? Is it by their peers reviewing it? Or is it what metric are they going to go by? Because they could say it was a success, that it was the most viewed show of all time, but can we prove that?
I like they tried to do a grandma level guilt trip on us by saying, if you don't watch this, no one's ever gonna get to watch any more streaming again. That's that's a good marketing tactic, guys. Well played. How about you hire writers or showrunners, you know, with some sort of experience and maybe a vision? You could have tried that.
I want to shout out, this used to be Kulinder Bard. And apparently YouTube nuked his account, and so this is his new account. I'm going to take it on faith that that's true. I wonder who else is going to get nuked. Weird days. We're living in weird days. Somebody else respond to what I was saying. Nathan, what do you think about that? Max, what do you think about that? I mean, where do you think things go from here? Do you think there's any chance this is going to fail?
Amazon won't let it fail. I mean, they've clearly said that Wheel of Time was a success, but they didn't produce the numbers for that. You look at Netflix, and they're saying that Sandman is one of the best shows on their channel, but that's not really getting views from what I'm hearing. So, you know, it's all disingenuous statements.
Yeah.
I think it's like, to use a sports analogy or a football analogy, which you know I love to do and you guys hate. And
I like
it's like
it's
like spending all of your money on your team on your kicker. Like it's good to have a good kicker, but you have to get there first, right? Or you can't use them.
Yeah.
And they've really done a weird thing here. They're spending so much money on these weird campaigns and on the production itself, and like nothing on the bones you used to build your actual story from. Nothing.
No
big
nothing
stars.
on the costuming.
Nothing.
No, nothing on the
Exactly.
costuming. It's almost like, and we've joked about it before, but that they were literally putting on the altar of Moloch $1 billion sacrifice to have the honor, as an ESG score driven corporation, to have the honor of destroying J.R.R. Tolkien. That is kind of the place that I've gotten with all of this, is they get to forever be the ones that get the ESG scores of removing the toxic whiteness and patriarchy from J.R.R. Tolkien's work. Now, is that too tinfoil hat? Because that's the only rationale I see behind this.
The first season of this and the first 2 seasons of this, I think they've already filmed, or it's already okay, so it's just the first one. Thank you, Salty.
Yeah.
So the second one, they may have an opportunity to, kind of fix some of their mistakes. The third one even more so. If it gets to a 4th or a 5th, maybe. But I will say, and this is me coming from having class the other night, where I was actually very surprised that I spoke to my professor. And take this with what you will, because for those of you who saw my Twitter post, like the university I'm at is very heavily leaning towards one side, and yet the professor I spoke with the other night was business professor, was stating how there are articles that are coming out with businesses pushing back against ESG, and how they are not getting any more money from BlackRock and these investing companies.
Bingo.
Because they don't make money. You can't make money solely off of ESG, and yet these corporations and these companies thought that they could get away with that. And so now they're seeing these investors starting to pull out, or they're just not producing any money, and their product isn't producing anything. So now they're looking at their balance sheets and their financial statements, and they're trying to go to the board of directors, and they're trying to go to their investors and saying, everything is fine. Don't worry, everything is fine. Well, there's a burning house behind them. We're going to find out very soon, like I said, whether that's season 2 or 3 or 4, or even if this doesn't get canceled or not, what, in the business sense of things, what's going to happen later.
Yeah.
Oh, but
and
Max,
go ahead.
I was just to say, it doesn't, a show doesn't get going until the 3rd season. That's what they tried to sell us.
That's right. Yeah. Guys, don't worry. It'll get good by season 3. Just watch all the way till then. Yeah.
Amazon only has to spend, if they're frugal, $2 billion and get through 2 seasons, maybe 2.5 seasons. And then maybe we'll have a good cliffhanger at the end of season 2. Sounds like a value to me.
How many businesses would operate? Damn it.
I'm going to drop you out. Come back in. Let me get to this super chat from Daniel really quick for $5. Daniel, thank you very much. Again, if you have not subscribed, go check out Daniel. Completely different takes, really great stuff. He does cool things outside and has these really kind of awesome takes. I just want to say that. This is for $5. Says the super fans thing was obviously cringe. Lying is one thing. Okay. Lying is one thing. Embarrassment is another. Tyrants will never put up with mockery or embarrassment. 100%. 100%. Very well said, Daniel. Thank you so much for that $5.
They have an image to project. They have a what do you call it? A brand. Amazon has a brand to protect, and right now it is only hindering it.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Purple.
And to be fair, if Amazon were actually frugal, they wouldn't be shipping their sets from New Zealand all the way to England brick by brick.
Yes. Think about that one. Yeah. I know you got to bounce, brother. I know you got to go.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. In my area, I won't disclose my location, but in my area, there is a large sports game, and said sports game has lots of traffic and lots of people that get in my way to try and get to my class. So I have to leave like 30 minutes earlier than I normally would. So I wish I could hang out with you guys more. It's seriously so much fun. It is a breath of fresh air. Believe me, if I could choose to stay here for the next hour as opposed to there for the next hour, I would absolutely much rather hang out with you, because you guys don't tell me how much of an evil person I am.
Yeah,
But no, it's
yeah.
all
In
good.
so many ways, for faith, being a patriot, and self-sacrifice. It's just the irony. Spoiled children, spoiled children,
You
calling
know,
men names.
yeah.
Real men. And I
It
mean that. You know that.
Thank you. And it, you know, we all know it's projection. Everyone here on this panel and is in chat are secure in ourselves, secure in our character, our morals, our ethics, and I think because a lot of those people don't have that, they're insecure in themselves. They have to project those insecurities on other people that are confident, and so we have to stay strong during those times, and just know that, you know, as Eric July would say, we will win. Um, but yeah, thank you guys again for having me on. I love you guys so much.
So good to see you.
Yeah,
Yes.
so good to see you
Stay
guys
strong,
too.
Max. You're a lion among
Thank you so
sheep.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. Thank you,
I
Purple.
like that.
Okay, now
I
I
like
feel
that.
I'm all right.
I
I'm
know,
gonna go to
right?
class feeling better.
Kind of
Yeah.
turned on a bit now from that.
Yeah,
I know.
right?
Just walk in with a
Um,
machete. Walk in with a machete and like war paint on, you know? It's like, is this what you guys were calling me?
Go full
Yeah, right.
Viking, Max. Exactly.
Yeah, go full
You know,
Viking.
that's it. That's what they see me as already. So it'd probably be
Good.
just, you know, yeah. But that's
It's
so funny.
it's better
Oh,
to
go ahead.
be infamous than popular. That's always been my opinion. So
I
infamous
like
than
that. That's a good quote. I like that
Yeah.
for sure.
You want the girls that
Um,
like the infamous guys. I'm just gonna say that. So yeah.
mm. Well, if she's anything like this Galadriel, the Rings of Power Galadriel, I don't want anything to do with her. But,
No.
She's a tempest. You got to
I
watch out for women like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have a tempest inside me. You got
Yeah.
plenty of other stuff inside you that, yeah. Oh
Whoa.
gosh.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
So
yeah,
does
I
Elrond,
will
it looks
say.
like.
I know, right? I will say real quick, tomorrow I will be going to the free showing of one of the
Yes.
theaters. They're going to play the first 2 episodes. Afterwards, I will be doing a live stream directly after to give my initial first thoughts, reactions, and reviews. Come on by. I know it's going to be super late, so I apologize if you guys want to watch it in the morning. Please do. But I'm hoping that, yeah, I'm hoping that that video does well, and that I can kind of get an understanding with these 2 first episodes. And thankfully, it's free because I really don't
Yeah.
want to pay for this. So, but
Yeah, I didn't want to drive a combined total of almost 3 hours to go sit for 2 hours. I just
No.
didn't want to do it. It's like, you know, I'm glad you're going, and please let us know how full the theater is. I would love to know that. You know?
Yes. I had a heck of a time trying to get tickets. They were very few and far between places that were actually doing this showing.
That's what I found too. Is the theaters were scarce, and then to get, I think I got one of the last 2 seats in the actual theater, because the rest of them were sold out. I didn't know there were that many YouTubers and media outlets to watch.
That's
this
exactly
thing.
what I thought too. That's exactly what I thought.
Because I was
Yeah.
thinking that's the only people who are going to go to this thing, right? But no, apparently there are people who are very intrigued. Whether they are going to show up in full Hobbit attire and Gandalf robes and Aragorn's armor, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to see. I'm really, really curious, but I'm nervous.
Since race and sexuality are the only things that seem to matter as representation, will you please ask everybody what their race is and what their sexuality is so that we can know if Amazon really has the on-screen representation that they claim they have? What I'm hoping is that they'll suddenly have created all of these people who maybe didn't like fantasy before, but only because Amazon has gone out of their way to change the story to represent the real world, as they call it, in 2022. I sure hope it looks like a United Nations conference when you go, Max.
Me too. And you know, considering the fact that they've what was it? They have translated the Lord of the Rings novels in over like 60 different languages or something.
Yes. Yeah.
None of those were other than white languages. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane to think that
Chinese,
anything
Korean, you know, South American, multiple dialects, just Portuguese. I had a gentleman by the name of Ding Dong, who's a Mexican Twitch streamer who's based in Mexico City, who sought me out to do one of the Fire of Phantom videos. That's the video
cool.
today. He does a
Whoa.
Spanish fantasy Twitch channel with his 2 friends in Mexico City. And he
That's
wanted to
cool.
present a perspective as someone who is, obviously living in Mexico. English is his second language, but talking about reading Tolkien in Spanish and how it's always been accessible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Love it. Gotta love it. But you guys will be the first to know. Come by, watch the stream
Please.
tomorrow night to see first
Thank you.
initial reactions. And yeah, thank you again for having me on the show, man. It's always good seeing you guys. So
It's good to see you, Max.
Good to
love
see you,
y'all.
Max.
It is. We missed you.
Yeah, I missed
We
you
missed
guys
you,
too.
brother.
But yeah, you bet your ass I'm gonna be here Tuesday nights because I ain't missing these. It's it's game time now. We got She-Hulk.
It is. This is it.
the dragon one. I forget the name of the House of Dragons.
House of the
and,
Dragon. Yeah.
Rings of Power. This is our bread and butter. So
And
we got
Cobra
that
Kai.
on.
Yeah.
And
Oh
Cobra Kai.
yeah.
Mhm.
Good call. Thanks, Purple.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.
Take care,
Thanks a lot,
Max.
Max.
Okay, Max.
Bye,
Be
guys.
safe. Bye. Oh, look at this.
Whoa.
He slides in there.
Hey.
We got the handsome redheaded man. Before we get going, I'm going to introduce you, Steve, but I am behind. This is a $10 super chat from the one and only Lyle Hammock. Says, I'm going to see it tomorrow night, and I can promise a non-shill view on it. And Max, it will be interesting to hear your view, considering we are approaching this with different expectations. I think that will be a fascinating conversation. I think, Lyle, I really think you should start a YouTube channel or put up a YouTube short with your reactions. I strongly recommend it. Thank you for this $10 super chat. Living Anachronism issued a call to war today. He is a channel that I recommend you subscribe to and look at his takes. I have a lot of respect for the video he made today, and a lot of it felt like it was addressed to us in this sphere who are creators, but it was really meant for the people who are in the audience, who are in the chat. And please asking you to join this fight, because I've been on YouTube almost 2 years and I haven't seen a lot. I haven't done a lot. I'm not going to pretend to do that. This fight, the last big fight that I was through was Wheel of Time, and Wheel of Time is going to look like a junior high girls Class C volleyball meet compared to what we're about to go through with this, and the amount of backlash and name calling and shadow banning and, in my opinion, coordinated attacks to silence those who don't go along with the narrative. So everyone, please, your voices are very much appreciated. Prophet of the Dragon, how are you doing? Say hey to everybody while I catch up and chat.
Hey, yeah, trying to not melt. So hopefully we're coming to the end of that period of time. But I hopefully I don't sound too bad because I've got the fans down today. But
it's a little annoying. But no, for those of you who don't know, Prophet of the Dragon and he's my partner for the. We do a live show reaction for House of the Dragon. His AC blew up on him last week, and he's been having problems getting parts to get his AC working. So he has fans running, and he's melting, much like the Wicked Witch of the West from Wizard of Oz. Yeah. I'm going to shout this one out. Sarah Garian says, Salty Texas C, just because what you say makes people uncomfortable does not make less true. I know. There's nothing worse than a comforting lie. There's no inflation. 2 weeks to slow the spread. Anyway, I agree with you, Sarah Garian. That's true. And Mr. Tickle Trunk has an interesting take on this. He says they're not destroying Tolkien. They're destroying their chance at making money off Tolkien. I agree with that partially. That doesn't mean I'm right. That's just my personal take. They're destroying their own subversion attempt with a They're destroying their own subversion attempt with a product so bad people see right through it. Purple Valkyrie, I'm going to let you respond to that one because I think that is a hell of a good point to make.
I think he's absolutely right. They know exactly what they're doing. They've known from the beginning what they were doing, and I think, at least us, as we've talked about it, our position really hasn't changed. But it could be argued, I guess, as Tolkien fans, we're not the audience that they were trying to get on board. It was this mythical audience that they're always chasing, that they think is out there. We saw it with I mentioned it earlier, with the influencers. They were trying to get the young crowd on board and, get, hey, fellow kids. It was that sort of vibe that was going on very early on. And then they switched to the much more, the Tolkien professor and the people that knew the lore, and they tried to go in that direction. And it has failed with the vast majority of people because we've seen through it. It just feels like a cash grab. And had this been any other fantasy show, I don't think the backlash would have been anywhere near as bad. But because they've taken Tolkien's name and they were stupid enough to say that this is the story that Tolkien probably meant to write, this is where he would have been going had he continued with the story. It was hubris, and people really, really do not like that. This is definitely the hill that most fans will die on when it comes to the father of modern fantasy.
Nathan, what's your take on that? And then I want to go to Steve on that one.
What was the comment? I didn't see that.
Okay, let me go to Steve on it.
Sorry.
But Steve, what is your take from Mr. Tickle Trunk? What he was saying?
Well, I mean, I think they've been. I think it's exactly right, because I mean, it's so clearly just. I mean, you get the people that want to hope it's going to be good, but it's so clearly just not looking good. Especially you're seeing all the comparisons to House of the Dragon, and how that narrative has changed pretty quickly to a lot of people agreeing with, I guess, our take that right away you can see that it's just going to be better without even seeing anything from Rings of Power. So I think them just trying to subvert all these expectations, just I think exactly done that is hurt themselves.
Let me get to this member chat because I can't see them. Zax is doing double duty. You guys don't want to know what's going on behind the scenes. It's broken. We'll just say that. Thank you, Zax. This is from Sarah Garian. Been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much. You've been a Taverin for 2 months. That's the elite channel top tier. It makes all the difference in the world. This is a quote. I read this book in college. Quote, ridicule is man's most potent weapon, unquote. Saul Alinsky, his book, Rules for Radicals. Can't get too much into that with the time that we have here, but if you wonder why people, let's just say in politics, are accusing a former president of doing the thing they're doing themselves, it's kind of like your basic Rules for Radicals, Saul Alinsky, Big Mike's husband kind of a place. We'll just say that. It's some pretty weird leftist 60s mind game stuff, and it's fully entrenched in if you're in the United States and the people who are in DC. We'll just say that. Let me also get to this. Roman of the Empire, been a member of my channel for 1 month. Hail to you, sir. Has a channel of his own. Go check out a Roman of the Empire. He does live streams quite a bit, covers a lot of different topics, films that he likes. He also covers the House of Dragons, among other things, for $4.99. Says, ahoy, salty, the message must prevail. Garbage. Well, at least the House of the Dragon is good. I hope Amazon dumps billions into this hole. I know they just got to keep raising the price of Prime, to cover bad business decisions, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, you guys. Zax, did you want to respond to that Mr. Tickle Trunk quote where he essentially says is they screwed this up so bad that they missed the opportunity to even use it as a form of subversion? Of course, speaking about the Rings of Power.
Yeah, I mean, I think that among other issues that they've had, the marketing they've done is probably the worst marketing campaign you could imagine. Like, if you could draw it up to go perfect, this is the opposite of that. And everything they've tried along the way has not worked. They've tried a lot of non-traditional promotions, and that's all backfired. And it's still, to this day, right now, happening. They're still making it worse over time. And I don't get it. I don't know who should get fired for this or promoted for this, I guess, if this is what they want to have happen. But it's, I mean, they've absolutely buried themselves. And There's a lot of people here who, and Lyle, I respect that he still is excited about the show, but over time, they've ground us down to where like people, those among us who were excited or at least balanced, are now no longer because of what they've told us.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
That's the place where I've gotten. That's why I don't make videos every day or every time someone over at Amazon says something or there's an article. Is you reach a point where you realize we're almost being manipulated as YouTubers to give them publicity, whether we intend to or not. And remember, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is ambivalence and saying who gives a shit. Which one is more damaging? Just an interesting question. So when I'm making content on the Rings of Power, I have backed off because I wanted to take a wait and see. I think the real story with this is how weirdly quiet Amazon is right now about their $1 billion show coming out. And they are in this track now of selling the personalities of the actors that were cast for the roles. That's their marketing plan.
Unfortunately for them, their personalities suck.
Yeah. Somebody here last week said that by this time next week, Lenny Henry will have put out a comment or a quote or done an interview. And they were right. Like, it's like clockwork. It's 1 week after the other. It's Lenny Henry's
And that's
turn.
it. And it's the same evolving message. You can go back to the first time Lenny Henry said the same goddamn thing he said today. You know what he said it? I think it was October 21st of last year. Lenny Henry said the same damn thing he has now said 3 or 4 times. It has not changed. Think about that. Does that seem organic to you?
Well,
Not to me.
And you know, right afterwards, they're going to have all the, I mean, House of the Dragon, even though we've talked about that, those prepped news articles to call everybody every name on the planet are already prepped and ready to go. So, you know, come day after, those are all going to release too. So it's just like, it's all been botched. That's absolutely correct.
Well, I think as someone had made the joke, was it you, Zax, that was talking about who needs to get fired for this marketing campaign? Well, I can guarantee you, anyone that's a white straight male, regardless of their sexuality, and of course, anyone who might not be, anyone who's moderate needs to get fired. And has someone who used to live in Seattle for a number of years, I know exactly who they're going to fire and then who they're going to bring in to replace them. And the problem is the executives responsible for this are going to fail upward. They're going to fail upward. And we've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. And the people who had to execute those orders because they have a mortgage, I'm not defending them, but I'm just saying this is the world that we live in. I think a lot of them were very willing co-conspirators in this and gleefully virtue signaling on social media. And this is the reality of what Max was talking about with this ESG score-driven stuff. Doesn't pay the bills. You know? Go ahead. What were you going to say, Kyle?
I was going to say that, like, I see Miss Martin uses super sticker up there, but I was thinking they've gone to the point now where Teresa, Miss Martin uses, is now using the Clown World font in our chat. Like, they've taken it that far. They've pushed her that far.
Yeah,
I couldn't have imagined
eloquent
that.
woman.
Oh my God,
very
she is
eloquent. Yes.
Way smarter than me.
Give
they've got to use
Ms.
Clown World font.
Sorry, give Ms. Martin uses a sub. If you want to talk about somebody who understands lore, who goes through lore, I believe she's still working on Terry Brooks. It's either the Sword of Shannara or one of the Shannara books. Fantastic read. It's an easy read. He's not Tolkien. He's not. But it's a great read. It's a great world to get enmeshed in. And I'd like to think that because MTV kind of rolled out a softcore porn version of that a couple of years ago, no one's going to mess with Terry Brooks anytime soon. So you can have your Terry Brooks for a little while. Yeah, what do you think about that, Nathan? You're the only one that didn't comment on that. Do you think that Amazon, through negligence, incompetence, whatever it might be, that even their using this as a virtue signal has been damaged because it is such an incompetent product that they're presenting?
I think it clearly has been damaged, but the question is will they clue into it? And I don't think that they're going to. This has been the narrative that this country has been run on for so long. You
Oh
just
yeah.
go out and you offend everybody on the other side of the argument to get your thing pushed through. And regardless of what it is, it's the whole idea that no press or bad press is good press type of thing. And the reality is that it's not true. The bad press is bad press, and that turns off people from your product. And I think that this in particular, they'll start, if they actually are honest with their own data and looking at it, they'll see that. Now the question is will they present that also to the general public? I doubt it.
Yeah. This was the point, and I think a lot of us has made it goes back to something Max said in one of our very first live streams together. He talked about why was the representation of Superman on the screen so important? You know, why, if what J.J. Abrams was doing with Ta-Nehisi Coates, what difference would it make? And the reason is because for a lot of people, they don't read comic books. There's a lot of people who never read the Tolkien books. Maybe they've read it, The Hobbit, back in high school or junior high. I don't even know what the hell they teach in those schools now. I've been out so long. But I think for a lot of people, the Peter Jackson movies were how they saw Tolkien. I think that's not a bad thing. I do think, however, you got to read the books. You got to read the books. But in this case, Amazon, and we talked about it before, this is a prequel, like every other damn thing that's being made. It's a prequel. Because what does a prequel do? It scrambles the entire continuum of what you had as pre-established in your mind. To me, this was meant to disempower Peter Jackson's adaptation and to make it look inferior. Now, we've been seeing articles like in the UK Sun, and I don't know if anybody can pull that one up, where they're literally saying in the headline, Elijah who? About Elijah Wood playing Frodo, perhaps one of the greatest performances I've seen of a character in the past 25 years. And then, of course, also crapping on the directing skills of Peter Jackson. This is an actual article in an actual paper in England. And they're doing this. And they're saying that the Peter Jackson films are going to look like community theater. This is in the article compared to how brilliant and how beautiful and how good the CG is in the Rings of Power. Oh, and by the way, here's all these actors that are playing made-up characters. Here they are. And look at look, this is why you should like these people as people, not like them as the character they're playing. Interesting, weird world we live in. Let's go back to the data one more time. In chat, I am going to bounce you out and pull this off. So for those of you who, oh, cool. It's because you're awesome, dude. Let's take a look at this again. Again, this is every site that we could find. Amazon has numerous small primes for multiple languages, for multiple regions. I can speak regions. Australia, India, Poland, obviously the United States, Spain, France, all of these different countries, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, all of them. All of this data here has been aggregated as of half an hour before the show and updated. And again, Nathan uncovered the fact that the response was so negative in New Zealand that Amazon actually took away 70,000 views. If you can pop that little snapshot up, Nathan, that would be cool. Sure. We want to substantiate this. With timestamps, there's the receipts right there. Amazon, obviously, in my opinion, screwed over New Zealand for whatever reason. When we did our show on Friday, almost 200,000 views. Then mysteriously, and 2 hours after the show we did, looking at the original data, they decided to take away 70,000 views. And only now, It's coming back. Whatever they did has backfired because the ratio went from an abysmal over 15 to 1 downvote ratio to now nearly 22 to 1 downvotes in Australia and New Zealand. If you can go back to the big picture, let's look at these global numbers again. Out of nearly 28 million views across all Amazon Prime platforms internationally, which comprises the international audience that the head of marketing said they needed to reach. 28 million views, 66,000 upvotes across the entire planet. 66,000 upvotes. But 625,700 and change downvotes. There's something wrong with this. Something wrong with all of this. Let's go, Nathan. Thank you so much for that. I think this is an important story to look at because we can sit here and say we don't like this, and it's not based on the lore, and Galadriel wasn't there, and the Queen of Numenor looks like this, and they're wearing shitty looking shirts that aren't chainmail armor, that bunch. I was looking at another promo picture today, and it was just so cringe because once you see that, that's all you see. Like, they spend $1 billion on this damn show, and they had scale armor printed T-shirts.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's laughable, right? I mean, it's like high school play. Like they got it. It's like, what are you doing?
And I'm the asshole. I'm going to be called a bigot, a misogynist, and a phobe. What difference does it make? If you don't like it, don't watch it. The show wasn't made for you.
The show should open with the music for the circus. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking the Benny Hill theme as she's riding out across the plains.
Let's just start replaying other shows intros because they forgot that they borrowed everything else, like the sets and all that. They're like, oh shoot, wrong show.
Yeah. I'm going to go to this comment from Ian Soforth. Hail to you. It is so great to see you. This is for 10 British pounds. Says, anyone with any clout at Amazon has already found the soap to wash their hands of this show. The runners will be left holding the bag when this tanks. I would like to hope so. They were insulated because before the show came out, they were given, I think it was a movie, at least one major movie that's coming out next year. So another case of failing upwards. I believe it was optics to pad out the non-existent CV of Payne and McKay, two lackeys again of J.J. Abrams, because they had nothing else there. And so forth. I really hope that they will give credit where credit is due for Payne and McKay trying to write a novel which Tolkien would have never written, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and Zax, let's go ahead and take that article that you have. I think it's important to just look at this language. I don't know how many people have covered this.
The link's in the private chat if you want it.
Oh, that's where it is. Okay, there we go. All right, that's a little more complicated.
Do you think they're even going to admit that the show's a success or not a success? So,
no.
I mean, I don't know that anybody's going to be left holding the bag because they're never going to admit it was a failure.
Are they admitting Brandon's a failure? And has lost 2 major geopolitical conflicts and has destroyed our economy and our standard of living is crashing? If we can't even get a straight answer about that, Oh, no, I'm getting there. I just, you're sharing it? Okay, cool. Sorry. Thanks. All right. So here's what we got. Oh boy, I can't read that because that's way too small. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to jump back to the article. I got too many things open. Oh my God. Maybe you should have some more stuff. Hold on. There's just so many ads on this. I'm going to drop this out, guys. Bear with me 1 second. We're going to go to the actual one because I can zoom in and drop this out, and it's hard to stream. It really is. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing. This is literally the headline.
Yeah.
It's so disrespectful, like, just right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's just like, all you can do is shake your head. It's like, really?
I know other people have covered this, but it's just, imagine what kind of a person does this. They revel in the destruction of what came before, reveling in destroying someone, insulting a movie with how many Academy Awards and BAFTAs did the Lord of the Rings trilogies win? It's literally unimaginable to me. Now I know people have covered this in other things, on other channels. The part that I want to get to is the statement where they were basically shitting on Peter Jackson. And yeah, see, we got to like everybody. We have to like everybody. That's what it is. Let's go back
I think the important thing about this to see too is there's two things. First of all, Galadriel never smiles ever, and they make sure they capture that moment in this photo.
Never.
And then, secondly, they've had to CGI. It looks like Elrond's face into this photo, even though it's a press photo. You think you could just take a picture? No.
Yeah.
Really? Is that really what happened there? Or
That's what it
just
looks
look
like.
Goofy. I think he's just a goofy-looking human being.
Oh, there's that too.
It's
Maybe
like
both.
just a composite photo. They've just taken like pieces of different faces and put it together.
That's what I think happened.
They're
Have you
using
seen this
pinata
man?
farms. Yeah.
I think they may have pulled it out of this article because I can't find it. It was in this article and it was towards the top.
Yes. It
Oh,
looks like they-
there it
Oh,
is.
you got it.
There it is. I found it. Yeah. So, filmed in New Zealand on a rumored budget of $1 billion for seasons 1 and 2. That's not true. It is much more than that. The show sports massive battle sequences, hordes of marauding monsters, and special effects that will make Peter Jackson's films of J.R.R. Tolkien's trilogy look at do-it-yourself fringe theater productions.
That comment right there is followed by the picture that's right on the screen. Give me a fucking break.
How can
Yeah.
you say that after showing everything that, like, I just watched the 4K of Lord of the Rings, and it, like, Gollum is real.
Oh yeah.
Gollum,
Yeah.
Gollum is a real thing. He's not an actor in CGI. He's a real thing. It's crazy
Yeah.
to even say that.
The great narrative in practice. This is the next thing to consume. Consume next thing. You must consume this thing. And anyone who is saying anything negative about this thing you have to consume, they are the enemy. Living Anachronism did a lot better job than I did talking about how this is going to go out. We, as YouTubers, those of us who don't have channels who love Tolkien, I think our job is to show people Peter Jackson's films, to buy them copies of The Hobbit for Christmas, for birthdays, to buy them the trilogy, the extended movies on DVD, to give it to people who don't have it, to sit down with our sons, our daughters, our nieces and nephews, our people who maybe have never watched it, and try and get them to understand this is Tolkien's world. Or buy them the audiobooks. You can either go with the one with Andy Serkis, which unfortunately has the Amazon labeling and market on it now, or you can go back to the Robert Englund ones, which I think are still exceptional as well. Make no mistake about it. Amazon is trying to destroy the past, kill it, like Disney Star Wars warned us before all this stuff started. I have never been more convinced in my life that Disney had the honor of kicking off all of this. All of it. After all, they did lead a symposium of entertainment conglomerates back in 2015, 2016 that was based upon ESG score entertainment, funded by the World Economic Fund. But we can't talk about that now, can we? Yeah, imagine calling Peter Jackson's how many Academy Awards? Somebody in chat, somebody on
We
this
got
panel did
11, I think.
What do we got?
wasn't it?
Seregrian has got it. Lord of the Rings, 17 Oscars, 2 BAFTAs, a Hugo, a Saturn, and MTV Movie of the Year.
Yeah, what a piece of shit that was, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
just was terrible. Nobody can get through it. You know, I mean, I don't know anybody who stayed the whole theater. You know, we're just fake fans. And really, my problem is I'm afraid of strong women, and I don't like representation. And I'm obviously part of what? Oh yeah, I'm part of that group that's semi-fascist. That's the new term now,
And that
right?
was
That's
back
the
when
only
those
reason.
awards actually meant something,
Wait,
not like
Yes.
they do today. You
MTV
had to
Movie of the
earn
Year
those
meant
things.
something sometime?
No, not that one, but
Fair.
Sorry, I had to.
This war, and it is a war. You all are adults. You all fight it the way that you want. I'm going to try something different, and I demoed it on the House of the Dragon as to how I'm going to judge every episode of this show. I don't want to watch this show. I don't want to watch The Rings of Power. I don't. That's part of the reason I haven't made nonstop daily content about this. I don't want this to pollute me as a person. Yes, I have a YouTube channel. Yes, I do. I have covered a lot of shit things. Not as long as some of the much larger, bigger channels. But at a certain point, I can't just make videos where I hate on everything all the time. I want to talk about some good stuff. That's why House of the Dragon was such a surprise. Like, I expected to hate on this and then to go and then, you know, probably strongly dislike the Rings of Power, which I think will still probably be true. But we as content creators, we're just like you. All we want is good entertainment to fill our souls. All we want is a good story, something that's faithful to the source material, something that inspires us, something that makes us think, something that makes us put our phone down and pay attention to what is on screen.
Yeah.
For me, and I wish I was a shill for HBO. I really do. I wish I was getting a little cheddar for saying nice things. When's the last time you heard me say some nice things? Stranger Things season 4. Loved the hell out of that. Blew my mind. I forgot what adjectives to use when you like a show. House of the Dragon, I don't have all the baggage because I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I only read the books. Oh, great.
I thought he was fine for me.
All right, you guys take it. I'm going to drop out. Go ahead. You guys vamp for me while I'm out.
I think you're absolutely right. We are first and foremost fans, and we talked about this way back when it first was announced. We were all excited that we were heading back into Middle Earth. That's the one thing that we were coming together for. But this is incredible. Amazon have picked up the rights. What are they going to do with it? And they were talking about how much they're going to spend on this. And we thought, well, if they're committing this much of a budget to a show, then it's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
We were a little bit naive, to be fair, but
well, and that goes to show you too. I mean, Amazon's produced Wheel of Time, and they're producing Rings of Power, and the look of both of those shows is downright pathetic in comparison to what HBO is producing. HBO knows how to spend their money to produce something that at least is presented like they're competent. Whether or not the show ends up being that's to be seen. But the comparison is just night and day compared to what HBO versus Amazon can do.
Absolutely.
Sorry, chat. When I left, it nuked the comments, so I can't catch up. So, yeah. I was roboting. We have thunderstorms here. That's probably part of what it is. Am I still roboting?
no, you sound good.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. Good to know. I didn't mean to interrupt. You guys continue your conversation while I try and figure out how to make a seamless entrance. I'm still working on that. Pretend I'm not here. Pretend I'm not here. Keep
We were
talking.
just saying
I'll jump in, okay?
Maybe
Shh,
we
I'm
were
not
a
here.
little bit naive because of the amount of money that Amazon committed to this back in the beginning when they first announced this. We thought, well, if they're going to have this bigger budget, it's got to be good, right? They've got to be taking care of the source material. And this was even before we knew what the show was focused on.
It's such a weird overall strategy, Purple, for them to have picked this time period and then yet include some of these characters and completely change the characters and to put them into the setting. It's it's the worst strategy I can imagine for a project like this. Like, if you're going to bring in Galadriel, we should instantly know, hey, this is the same Galadriel that we know from other things. But no, they're going to use her, but use her differently, completely swap her out essentially, and then take all this time and compress it, and then like, well, Elrond obviously is different, but it's nonsense, really, is what they've done.
Well, and then
Yeah,
tell us that
it's-
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
No, and then tell us their versions are better than the versions that we know and love, because we're better at it, so you're gonna like ours better. So, don't worry if you don't recognize anybody. We tell the story better.
Well, 2 uncredited writers for Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
2 associates of J.J. Abrams who didn't have any actual credits other than uncredited writer roles for Star Trek Beyond, a movie I could not finish, got Tolkien. That's not an accident. That's not an accident. Well, here's the fruit. I'd like to think that J.J. Abrams is quietly going to go off somewhere and not make the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman and not do all of this dumb shit that he's been doing with lens flare and representation and bad storytelling and shortcuts. I know that some of the things that he was working on for Warner Brothers and HBO got canceled. I think it's an encouraging sign. The question is what's going to come to replace all of those things that are canceled? And yeah. Let me get to this super chat. We're going to start winding down, guys, because I was only going to go about an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes. I have so much more to cover that we didn't get to tonight, and I'm going to be going live. I don't know, Purple, are we live tomorrow or the day after? I'm going to be going live probably tomorrow night to cover some of this stuff because my D&D game got canceled, sadly. So,
ooh,
yeah, I know. Go ahead, Purple.
Yeah, we will be doing a little bit of woo-woo tomorrow, if we can fit it in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be talking about aliens and cryptids and interdimensional travel and why it's a bad idea to have that thing in CERN, the Hadron Collider. Hey, do you guys know how much energy and electricity that Hadron Collider uses in Europe when you guys don't have electricity? Look that one up. I'd be pissed off if I was you. That's all I'm going to say. Look, you can just barely see me over the top of the super chat. Hi.
I'm sure the windmills will help that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a $5 super chat from Taker610, a longtime supporter of this channel. Says, I have the Middle Earth Ultimate 4K Collector's Edition and I'm getting stream banned. What is POTD?
That's me, man. Prophet of the Dragon.
Oh, and Prophet of the Dragon. I'm sorry, I'm not hip to the Prophet of the Dragon lingo. You are totally right. Gollum looks amazing. Purple's right. Pure effing hubris. That's all they got. You can sit there and say all the nice things about yourself. You can talk about diversity and representation, and you need a global audience. You can have all of these noble goals. The problem with this show, along with all of these other ESG-driven vehicles, is they have no tangible, measurable goals they're trying to hit. Not even the audience who watches this shit. They don't even count anymore. It's just the message or the agenda, apparently. Well, I'd like to think some of these studios, HBO, Warner Brothers, maybe they actually want to make money. Maybe. I don't trust it. I'll believe it when I see it. But the problem is, and I said it on Friday, there are no consequences for failing to deliver. Amazon has all this money to burn. There's no consequences for failing to meet our expectations. We used to matter because we were the fandom and we were the consumers of this product. Now they just want to throw it at a bunch of people who don't even know this fandom. And when we complain about what they've done, then they say that we're racist and we don't like strong women. So then these new people who don't even know who the hell Tolkien is, I know, right? Live under a rock. But there are people who have not seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy. There are. Those people now get to be triggered and become activists and hate on us so that they can occupy the fandom that we held for me, 40 years. Been a book reader for 40 years. I know I'm old. That doesn't mean I have any more right or claim to Tolkien. That just means I'm being replaced. We're seeing a lot of that. A lot
They're
of
not
things being
replacing you though.
replaced.
There's nobody coming in for it.
That's the thinking. And remember, we will always have the books. We will always have the Peter Jackson films. We're gonna end the show on this. We're gonna go around the horn with what you think. I keep saying this every damn show, and I mean it. Other large YouTubers who've been doing this longer than I have say the same thing too. Buy physical media. Get the books, not just what's on Kindle. Buy the DVDs or the Blu-rays. Buy another set, because there's going to come a time when you will not be able to get those things and you're going to wish you had them. That's what I want to say about that. We had one hell of a good chat tonight. My God, you guys are on fire. We got to get a bunch of people out of here. Let's go ahead and, Paul Wolfley, read The Hobbit on my own in 4th grade because I liked the cartoon. That's how I did it, Paul. That's how I did it too. Daniel says, don't sell yourself short, Salty Texas C. My great-grandfather still has a couple of years on you. Yeah, son of a bitch. Thank you very much for that, Daniel. It's nice to get my balls broke by my longtime channel fans. What do you got over there, Nathan? What are you whipping out for the ladies over there?
That's right, ladies. Physical media right there. Leather-bound copy of the trilogy. Silmarillion. There's your 4K. And then sleeve versions.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible.
That's a beautiful copy.
That's absolutely
this is what I read to my kids. This book.
That's incredible.
And then this is The Hobbit.
Okay,
that's
I need to
beautiful
get that.
edition.
I need to get that version.
I do too.
Now, there's the front cover.
Wow.
The original Tolkien watercolor done has an engraving. That's beautiful. Daniel, you and I are on the same page with that one. Look at that artwork.
That is
We're gonna have to talk after the show. We're gonna have to. All right, let's go ahead and start going around the horn. It's beautiful. It is just absolutely beautiful. I know, Zax, you've got to go. Let's go ahead and let's start with Prophet of the Dragon. I'm sorry that your fan is going. Thank you so much for muting. You're a great guy to work with. I hope your AC gets fixed tomorrow, and not for me, but for you. I know you're roasting over there. Where can people find you?
Just Prophet of the Dragon, YouTube channel, and here on Sundays watching House of the Dragon, and then Corporeal after that. That's my main thing right now. Having fun with that. So, but yeah, give me a look. Hopefully, I'll have a video out tomorrow if I can withstand the heat.
Thank you so much for jumping on. I'm going to be doing the Sunday House of the Dragon live show review live on this channel. We learned lessons from last Sunday, so we're going to be putting still images on screen of what we're watching. Also, we are going to be doing live reactions to the 2-hour Amazon show. Not quite sure how it's going to work yet. I don't know whose channel it's going to be on. We'll figure it out. But we're going to do that as a live reaction. I think it's important. I don't know if we're going to do all of them, but I'd say let's do it. Let me get to my good friend, Nathan, a man of Manethrin, brother. Hail to you. Shout out your channel. Where can people find you? And let's get rolling on out.
You can find me on my channel, Man of Manethrin, just putting out videos occasionally, with stuff regarding Lord of the Rings, working on some material for Wheel of Time. And just enjoying the chats here on Tuesday night and just having a good time, not just hating on Lord of the Rings or Rings of Power, but loving
Tolkien,
actual Tolkien Lord of the Rings stuff. So, yeah, that's where I'll be.
That's the whole reason I did the Fire of Fandom series. please go watch what is it, Living Anachronism's video. He's a much larger channel than I am. I just think he did a fantastic job. One of the things he talks about is don't just hate on the show, like Nathan said. Talk about why you love Tolkien. We're not going to convert people by having little bitch wars on Twitter or sniping at people in our comments section who are going to say the same predictably dumb, stupid arguments to trigger us. The way that we are going to convert those who could potentially be converted is to show them why we love Tolkien. That's why I did the Fire of the Phantom series. I hope people have enjoyed it. I hope that it has changed some people's minds. And I really hope those executives at Amazon lay awake thinking about all the people's comments about why they love Tolkien and why they have issue with what they're doing to the Rings of Power. Zax, let's go to you before we get out of here, and then I will jump to this super chat.
Yeah, I'm going to be on 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser tonight, later.
Oh, wow.
Toxic Tuesdays. And we are talking about Blazing Saddles and watching Blazing Saddles, so that'll be fun.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you find out where the white women are at, will you please tell me, Zax?
I'll let you know. We'll go find them together.
That's true. You're Canadian. No one's more white than you are. That's not true. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Raised in Southern Ohio, can't get more white.
That's true. That's true.
Come up here. And then Thursday, doing the Ultimate Arnold tournament, and our featured channel content creator is going to be the White Cloaks are going to come on and tell us a bit of their story on Thursday and at 8:15 Central. And otherwise, put out a video today about how to fight back and deal with some of the attacks we're going to get.
It's a good video. Yeah. Go check it out. Zax7. The channel is Zax7. Purple Valkyrie, we're going to end with you. I'm going to get to the super chat real quick. This is from Taker610. Thank you very much. For $5 says, these showrunners and actors didn't have to earn this fan base. It was given to them. What you don't earn, you don't respect. I agree.
Yes. Excellent point.
100%. And the reason why they're attacking us is because they know that we're right with our criticism. They know what they made is not Tolkien. But they didn't make it for us. They made it for that same mythical audience, that Disney Star Wars, that Disney Marvel Phase 4, that Disney Marvel Phase 5, that Batwoman was for, that same mythical audience. Thank you so much for that, Taker610. Purple Valkyrie, where can people find you? What's going on?
First of all, what a fantastic show. Thank you guys, and thank you to the chat. What a great talk we had tonight. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to have a little bit of a palate cleanser before we jump back into Rings of Power. We're going to talk a little bit of woo-woo. But to piggyback off what you guys were saying about physical media, over the weekend I will be going to a big fan convention, and that is exactly what I'm going to be looking for. Toys, games, books, anything to do with Lord of the Rings. Because it is incredibly important to pick this stuff up.
If you collect action figures like me from the original films, I like the big 1/6 scale ones. They are getting impossible to find, and the prices I've done videos on it have gone through the roof. So go find real Tolkien, go find real Lord of the Rings now, because after this comes out, all of these new fans who are going to consume the thing of the moment are going to run out there and buy all the things that maybe has a little bit more sentimental attachment to you. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Hail to Paulie Latino Slant says, dude, what movie are we going to do a retrospective on? I like Moscow on the Hudson. You said that. You wet my whistle with that. You broke my heart and walked out without even giving me a kiss goodnight, Paulie. Wow. I would love to watch Moscow on the Hudson with you, or any of those. Any movie from that time. There's so many good movies. Thanks for being here, Paulie. Mr. Tickle Trunk gets the last smooch of Purple Valkyrie of the night with the purple heart.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. You guys are amazing.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for a truly on fire chat. Thank you so much for your comments on this data. We will continue to update this. I think what will be fascinating is where this data goes in the next 24 hours, and then where it goes after that, the movie trailer thing comes out. I think an onslaught is about to start. I truly do. And we will see what happens, not just in the media, but to YouTubers who may offer a critical assessment of what this is. Thank you so much to everyone for the super chats. It makes a really big deal. YouTube is playing a lot of crazy. I knew I would trigger Polly in a good way. Yes, Moscow and the Hudson, just had to put that in there. YouTube has been playing some weird games with the algorithm. It's not just me making it up. There's a lot of channels that see it, and the super chats really help. So thank you very, very much. All right, that'll do it. Remember, Zax will be back on Thursday night at 8:15. Purple Valkyrie and I will be talking about UFOs, aliens, cryptids, and all types of things tomorrow. Don't forget to check out Steve, Prophet of the Dragon. Give him a sub. Also, check out Nathan, Amanum, and Nethrin. Also, subscribe to Max Field Von Priestley, the one, the only, the handsomest Von Priestley there ever was. You guys have a great night. I'm starting to get stream brain, and I've got to jump through a bunch of different screens. Thank you for being members of my channel. Thank you for watching tonight. It means a lot to me. Everybody take care.
Thanks.
Take care.
Night.